I'm gay, and I fell for Derek Shepard, a sports major at first sight, but he was straight as an arrow. I sighed in resignation, deciding not to make a move, until one day he started following me. And later, as I sheepishly clutched my aching backside, I had to wonder, Ace Tright guy, Derek's response. Yeah, which part of that is wrong? There it was again, that strange feeling. It started after I left the library and said goodbye to a junior student, Chloe Shepard. I could clearly sense someone following me. The feeling of being watched wasn't new. For the past week, I'd felt an intense gaze on me whenever I walked around campus. Not wanting to spook my stalker, I pretended not to notice. I walked to the edge of the man-made lake and sat down, taking a few pictures of the distant sunset with my phone. Then, in a swift, deceptive motion, I flipped the camera around and snapped a quick photo behind me. Whoa shit, a dark figure yelped and darted into a nearby grove of trees. I zoomed in on the photo and saw a dynamically blurred face. Pretending to leave, I hid behind a large tree. A few moments later, a person emerged from the woods. He looked around, and once he was sure the coast was clear, he walked a few steps and sat down against a tree. He pulled out his phone and made a call. That was close. I almost got caught. Good thing I'm quick. I'm telling you, D-Man, are you really going to sacrifice yourself to save your sister by seducing Leo Adler? You're straight, but he's gay. Leo Adler. That's me. What can I do? My sister is obsessed with the guy. Her phone is filled with his art, and she's always looking for him. I can't just watch her walk into a world of pain. The guy under the tree stuck his neck out, his voice filled with a tragic, do-or-die determination. Once I've got him, my sister will give up. Then when it's all over, I'll just dump him, so that's what this was about. I raised an eyebrow, my expression unreadable. It was a stupid plan, but it piqued my interest. The annoyance of being followed vanished, replaced by a much more potent emotion. His friend, unable to talk him out of it, could only offer encouragement and prayers. D-Man, protect yourself, man, not just your front, but your back too. Get lost, screw you. He hung up, stood, and patted the dust off his pants before walking away. I stepped out from behind the tree, watching his retreating back with a great deal of interest. When the prey becomes the hunter, isn't that much more fun? I stopped, deliberately avoiding his stalking. Occasionally, I'd double back suddenly just to scare him, finding it amusing to watch him scramble to hide. A week later, I returned to my dorm after class. I attend an elite private university. The dorms are doubles, but my previous roommate couldn't stand living on campus and bought an apartment nearby a few days into the first semester. I'd had the room to myself for 2 years. Today, I was getting a new roommate. I keyed in the password for the lock and opened the door, nearly walking straight into a perky ass. A guy with a buzz cut, wearing a black tank top and loose sweatpants, was bent over, about to pick up some scattered sketches from the floor. As he moved, the waistband of his pants slipped down a bit, revealing a sliver of a lean, strong waist. I beat him to it, brushing past his shoulder as I bent down to gather the papers. "Please don't touch my things," I said coolly. The guy seemed startled by my sudden presence, jumping back a step and rubbing the ear my breath had ghosted over. A faint blush spread across his chiseled face. "Hey, I was just trying to help. The wind blew these on the floor." He straightened up, standing nearly 6'3". He had a strong brow and tan skin. "Oh. Thanks," I replied, my face a mask of indifference, and walked past him. I collected the rest of the sketches from my desk and locked them in a drawer. He had no idea that every single one of those unfinished figure drawings was of him. "Hey, what's your deal?" he started, following me. I turned around abruptly. The distance between our faces closed in an instant. He was a hair's breadth from kissing me. He slammed on the brakes, yanking himself backward and stumbling a few steps away. He muttered under his breath, "Do guys normally smell this good?" "What did you say?" I asked, leaning lazily against the edge of my desk, my eyes fixed on him. "Oh, I was saying I'm the new roommate, Derek Shepard." He flashed a smile, revealing 2 sharp canine teeth. "I know who you are." "Huh?" He tensed up, the change visible to the naked eye. I took in his reaction, finding it highly amusing. He really was an all-brawn, no-brains straight guy, wearing every thought on his face. The Raw told me a new roommate would be moving in today. He let out a noticeable sigh of relief. "Oh, right, I thought, sorry, my tone was a bit off just now. Let's try to get along from now on, heh." I was charmed by his silliness. A smile touched my lips. "Of course, new roommate," I said, my voice warm. Derek stared at my smiling face, stunned for a few seconds. "Holy crap, are you mixed race?" "Yes, my father is German. No wonder your eyes are golden." In the sun, they look like shimmering gems. They're beautiful. His praise seemed genuine. I smirked. So you like them? Huh, he asked, surprised. I held his gaze, a hint of a smile in my eyes. Derek touched his ears, which were turning a deeper shade of red, and avoided my gaze. He turned, rummaged through the backpack by his bed, and pulled something out. Right, I heard you're in the art department. This is for you, a little welcome gift. He opened the box to reveal a pricey, limited edition colored pencil set. It was from one of my favorite brands. He'd done his homework. Thank you, but this is too expensive. I can't accept it. Nah, it's nothing, just take it. He grabbed my hand, refusing to take no for an answer, and pressed the box into it. The rough calluses on his palm scraped against the back of my hand, sending a tingling sensation through me. I pressed my lips together, then flipped his hand over, lacing my fingers through his. So rough, I murmured, frowning. Derek gave an embarrassed laugh. Oh, I'm a sports major. I'm always handling equipment, so my hands are a bit calloused. He pulled his hand back, tucking it slightly behind him, his brow furrowed as if he wasn't used to my touch. I stared at my empty palm, my thoughts drifting to a strange place. I bet it would feel amazing to be held by hands like these. Derek moved into the dorm. He was eager to close the distance between us. Every day he'd check in on me, diligently bringing me meals, buying me water, and even doing my laundry. I pretended not to know his true motives, happily accepting his kindness and care. One day when his sister, Chloe, messaged me for advice on an oil painting, Derek was in the bathroom, hand washing my pajamas. I pointed out some flaws in her painting and suggested corrections, also sending her a few websites she could use for reference. Tarot lover not lazy. Thanks, master, that helps a lot, but painting is so hard. Crying puppy.jpg me. So, give up, tarot lover not lazy. Never for my beloved idol. I will learn with all my heart and soul. Because her idol liked oil paintings, she was determined to learn so she could give him a hand-painted piece at his signing event next year. She had practically begged me to be her teacher. Unable to refuse her persistent requests, I had agreed to teach her the basics. The mention of her idol opened the floodgates, and she launched into a non-stop promotion of his new romantic drama. I worked on a school assignment on my tablet, occasionally typing a response to keep the conversation going. When I glanced up and saw her latest message, I raised an eyebrow. Tarot lover not lazy. Speaking of chasing someone, I think my brother is chasing someone lately. I wonder if I'm about to get a sister-in-law. Me. Oh, really? Yeah, I borrowed his phone to snag some concert tickets the other day and saw his search history. He was looking up tips on how to woo someone, stuff like winning over your crush with small details. Master, the art and sports departments are right next to each other. Could you maybe keep an eye out for me? No worries if it's too much trouble. She sent a photo of a guy. It was a shot of a basketball court at sunset. A handsome, athletic guy, drenched in sweat, was making a powerful layup, his gaze sharp and focused. The candid shot was perfectly composed. I twirled my stylus. Sure, I typed back. A noise came from the bathroom, and Derek emerged carrying a basin. He was shirtless, a white towel draped around his neck. I exited the chat and turned to openly admire the beautiful lines of his muscular body. Our eyes met. Derek froze for a second, then his brain caught up. He clutched the basin with one hand and quickly used the other to pull the towel over his pecs. I laughed. We're both guys. What are you shy about? He looked flustered. Oh, I'm not, just sweaty. Wiping my chest, I didn't call him on it, just nodded to show I understood. His eyes landed on my tablet screen and his pupils dilated. How do you have a picture of me? I glanced back. I'd closed the chat window but had forgotten to close the picture I'd opened. Oh, I saw it on the campus social network. It was a half-truth. That photo of him had, in fact, gone viral on campus. You look amazing when you play. I was captivated the moment I saw you. That part was the whole truth. He didn't know that the first time I ever saw him was on that basketball court. I'd been in a foul mood, unable to produce a piece of art I was satisfied with. While walking around campus to clear my head, I heard a round of cheers. I turned and my eyes landed on Derek just as he made that shot. After the perfect basket, he lifted the hem of his jersey to wipe the sweat from his face. He turned, a wide, triumphant grin on his face as he high-fived a teammate. That smile, bathed in the sunset, was dazzling. My gaze drifted down to his chiseled waist. The frustration in my heart dissipated, replaced by a different kind of fire. To put it poetically, it was lust at first sight. To put it crudely, I was turned on by him. But unfortunately, I heard that Derek was straight. No matter how much I liked him, I had no interest in trying to turn a straight guy gay. I thought that would be the end of it. Who would have guessed he'd later misunderstand my relationship with his sister? Since fate had twisted things this way, I decided to just go with the flow. While I would never actively pursue a straight guy, one who delivered himself to my doorstep was another matter entirely. My praise made Derek flush with embarrassment, and he let out a couple of happy chuckles. "If you like watching me play, I have a tennis match next Friday. Do you want to come watch?" he was asking me out. I thought for a moment, then agreed. "Sure." Derek, overjoyed, went to hang the laundry. My phone, sitting on the desk, vibrated. It was a reply from Chloe. "Thanks, master. Love ya." I exited the chat and marked the messages as unread. Then I got up and headed to the bathroom to wash up. Hearing Derek's footsteps pass by, I called out to him through the door. "Derek, I forgot to grab my clothes. Could you get my clean pajamas from the chair for me?" "No problem," he answered cheerfully. After he walked away, I quietly cracked the door open a sliver. Derek picked up the pajamas from my chair, and as he looked up, he saw my phone screen, which I'd left unlocked. Chloe's last message to me was clearly displayed. Derek's hand holding the clothes tightened. His back seemed to stiffen with a newfound resolve. Before he could turn around, I closed the door, a satisfied smile on my face. He was dragging his feet. I didn't mind giving this game a little push myself, as expected. In the following days, Derek started actively getting closer to me, trying to create more physical contact. I played along, giving him the responses he was looking for. A few more smiles, a slightly more affectionate gaze. I even brought him back some treats and showed him a little concern. These small doses of sweetness were enough to make Derek even more enthusiastic about his plan. I don't know what he learned from the internet, but his seduction techniques improved. Every day after training, he'd parade around shirtless in front of me. His excuse: it was too hot and it felt cooler without a shirt. He also bought some compact fitness equipment and would pointedly show off his muscles in front of me. "What do you think? Pretty good physique, right?" he asked, flexing his bicep as he held a dumbbell in one hand. I tore my eyes from my book and gave him a cursory glance. "It's all right." "I'm about the same." My dismissive attitude clearly annoyed Derek. He put the dumbbell down and came over to squeeze my shoulders. He shook his head. "No way, you're way too thin. I'm sensitive and quite ticklish." I flinched, trying to bat his hand away. Derek, sensing my reaction, mischievously refused to let go. He deliberately ran his hands down my back, kneading as he went. I burst out laughing, twisting my body to escape his touch. In the middle of our roughhousing, I accidentally fell out of my chair. Derek's reflexes were quick, and he reached out to catch me. With a crash, the chair toppled over. Derek caught me with one hand supporting my waist and the other cupping my ass. He had just been working out, and his palm was shockingly hot. I steadied myself and gave him a little push. "I told you to stop. Now help me up." The next second, I felt the hand beneath me move slightly. I took a deep breath and asked in a low voice, "What are you squeezing?" Derek snapped back to reality, his face turning beet red. He flexed his arm, hoisting me off the floor by my waist. Sorry," he said, his mouth dry, not daring to look at me again. He stumbled toward the door like an idiot, nearly tripping over the fallen chair. "Hey, you!" Before I could finish, the door slammed shut. Derek was gone for almost 2 hours. When he returned, he went straight into the bathroom to shower. The noise he made when he came out woke me up. Derek. The moment he heard my voice, he scrambled into his bed like a startled monkey. He pulled the covers over his entire body and played dead. I was baffled and speechless. Are all straight guys this innocent? Thankfully, his awkwardness only lasted for that one night. The next day, it was as if nothing had happened, and his attitude toward me was back to normal. However, there was a new depth to the way he looked at me. Sometimes I'd catch him stealing glances, and he'd blush inexplicably when I did. We continued this strange, peaceful coexistence until the day of his Friday tennis match. I left class at 3:30 p.m. and headed to the stadium. The match was just beginning, and the indoor arena was packed. Derek had saved me a seat with the best possible view. I was surrounded by students from the sports department, the air thick with an overwhelming dose of testosterone. I silently pulled the mask I'd put on before entering a little tighter. My eyes locked onto the tall figure on the court. Derek looked over at the same time, smiling and waving in my direction. As the match heated up, the crowd grew more and more frenzied. Cheers and shouts echoed through the stadium, loud enough to tear the roof off. I took a sketchbook from my backpack and began to draw Derek's dynamic form. I skillfully captured each swing of his racket, each sprint and leap. His movements were sharp, his eyes focused. The normally goofy guy had a different kind of charm when he was serious about his craft. Just as I was getting into my drawing, my view was blocked by someone who suddenly appeared. "Hey, you're an amazing artist. What's your major?" The person sitting next to me had, at some point, been replaced by a nerdy-looking guy with glasses. I held up my sketchbook, showing him the large words printed on the cover. "Art Department Official Sketchbook." The guy, unabashed, scooted even closer. He pulled out his phone. "Can I get your number? Wow, I just noticed your eyes are golden. That's so rare." "No," I said coldly. He chuckled and leaned in, lowering his voice to a whisper. "Come on, let's be friends. I know you're that type. I am too." The match paused for a mid-game break. I pulled down my mask and turned to him with a pleasant smile, but my words were ice. "Unfortunately, you're not my type." The guy's eyes lit up when he saw my face. But then my words sank in and his expression darkened. Who's this?" The guy and Derek spoke at the same time. I shrugged. He wanted to get my number and be friends. Derek's brow furrowed and he squinted, sizing the guy up. "What kind of friends?" The guy, intimidated by Derek's muscular frame, adjusted his glasses and bolted. Once he was gone, Derek asked me nervously, "Did you give it to him?" I didn't answer, instead asking, "Do you want me to?" A few nearby students glanced over, their faces full of gossip. His expression shifted and he forced a smile. "Hey, why are you asking me that? We're all guys, nothing wrong with making a friend." "Derek, I'm not watching the second half." I cut him off, closed my sketchbook, and slung my bag over my shoulder, my face cold as I prepared to leave. He grabbed my hand, his tone urgent. "Where are you going?" I smiled thinly, enunciating each word slowly. "To make a new friend." Derek wanted to say more, but his coach was calling him back to the court. The break was over. I was, admittedly, a little pissed off. Pissed that he cared so much about what other people thought. Pissed that he was such a dense blockhead with negative emotional intelligence. I went from the stadium back to the dorm. After listening to some music in the quiet room, my anger dissipated. He was the one I liked, the one I had allowed to get close to me. No matter what, I had to take responsibility for my choice. I let out a soft sigh of resignation, put on my headphones, and started to draw. At 6 in the evening, the dorm room door was thrown open with brute force. I jumped, taking off my headphones and turning around. Derek was panting heavily, his chest heaving, his clothes soaked with sweat. Seeing me in the dorm, he visibly relaxed. He wiped the sweat from his brow, closed the door, and walked cautiously toward me. He pulled a gold medal from his pocket and held it out to me. "Leo, I won the match." "MHM, congratulations." My reaction was lukewarm. "This is for you." "Please don't be mad at me," he said, a hint of grievance in his voice. But what did he have to feel aggrieved about? My attitude didn't change. "That's yours, I don't want it. Besides, why would I be mad at you? We're just roommates." Derek grew anxious, opening and closing his mouth several times, unable to get the words out. In the cool, air-conditioned room, he managed to break into another sweat. I didn't plan on pushing him too hard right now. I took the medal from his hand. "Aren't you uncomfortable all sweaty? Go take a shower." Derek's anxious expression softened and a smile touched his lips. He asked tentatively, "Okay, can I treat you to dinner later?" "MHM. Wait for me, then I'll be quick." He rushed to his closet, grabbed some clothes, and dashed into the bathroom. I stared at the closed bathroom door and let out a silent, soft laugh. Tonight, I planned to give this dumb straight guy a little shock. It was time to open his eyes. Derek treated me to hot pot. As if to apologize, he ordered a lot of my favorite dishes. I ate until I was about 70% full, then put down my chopsticks. Derek frowned, looking at the large amount of meat still left on the table. "You're too skinny. You should eat more. Eating too much at night can cause indigestion." "My stomach can't handle it." "Actually, I've been wanting to say this for a while. Your constitution is so delicate. You feel unwell whether you eat too much or too little. Plus, you don't like to exercise. That's not good for a young guy. You sound like an old man. You're only a year older than me. A year is still older." Derek then suggested, "How about this? Starting tomorrow, I'll take you to work out with me every day. We'll build you up a bit. What do you think?" I politely declined. "No, thanks for the offer." Derek expressed his regret. After the meal, they brought out 2 small desserts. I took a bite of mine. A drop of cream landed on my hand. I curled my finger and brought it to my mouth, licking it clean. Derek noticed the action, his gaze fixed on my hand. He suddenly asked, "Are all you artsy types' hands as nice as yours, pale and slender, with pink-tinged fingertips?" I licked the last of the cream from my finger, my eyes curving into a smile. Perhaps. Derek's gaze fell on my wet finger. I don't know what he was thinking, but his entire face suddenly flushed red. We returned to the dorm after dinner. Smelling of hot pot, Derek went to take another shower. While he was in there, I opened my laptop and started watching a movie with the sound off. When I heard the water stop, I lowered the laptop screen halfway. "I'm done, you can go wash up," Derek said. He was shirtless again, his short hair still dripping with water. I grabbed my pajamas and walked up to him, reaching out to touch his hair. "You should blow dry it, or you'll catch a cold." As I pulled my hand back, my fingertips brushed lightly over the shell of his ear. Derek seemed to shudder, his voice tight. "Ah, right, okay." I went into the bathroom, waited 5 minutes, and then called out, "Derek, can you grab my razor from the desk?" He turned off the hairdryer and said, "On my way." I timed it perfectly, using my phone. I connected to the laptop via Bluetooth, pressed play on the movie, and turned the volume up just enough to be noticeable but not loud. Just as Derek reached the desk, he heard some indescribable sounds coming from the half-closed laptop. But there were only 2 male voices. I silently opened the door and watched his every move. He was bewitched by the sounds and unconsciously reached out to lift the screen. And thus he witnessed the most shocking movie of his life. Derek's eyes widened in disbelief, staring at the high-definition image of 2 entangled, panting figures. But he couldn't look away, as if in a trance. When one of the actors let out a high-pitched, desperate cry, the razor in his hand clattered to the floor. I walked up behind him, barefoot, and leaned in close to his ear, whispering, "You saw everything, didn't you?" Derek flinched violently and slammed my laptop shut, as if trying to deny what he'd just seen. He spun around in a panic, only to find me standing extremely close to him. He stumbled back a step, but the desk behind him blocked his retreat. He licked his dry lips, stammering, unable to form a coherent sentence. His face alternated between pale and flushed. He was clearly terrified. I deliberately put on a cold expression, my voice a demonic whisper. "Who told you to peek at my laptop? You've discovered my secret. Now what should we do about that?" He swallowed hard. I didn't mean to. It was the laptop. Are you trying to tell me my laptop deliberately seduced you into looking? I emphasized the words deliberately seduced. A flash of guilt crossed Derek's eyes. He lowered his head, not saying a word, his hands by his sides clenched into tight fists. I secretly smirked, then switched to a hurt expression. "You know now that I like men. You must look down on me, don't you?" The corners of my eyes drooped, my long lashes trembling slightly. Derek looked up at me and quickly waved his hands, trying to explain. "No, it's fine. If it bothers you, I'll talk to the RA tomorrow and apply to live off campus. I won't get in your way or make you uncomfortable." It doesn't bother me, really. When he saw I didn't believe him, he gritted his teeth and blurted out, "Actually, I like guys too. I was just afraid to tell you." I was a bit surprised. He was really willing to say anything, but you don't seem like it at all. His eyes darted around as he came up with an excuse. "That's because I'm deep in the closet." I almost burst out laughing. Suppressing my amusement, I asked, "Is that so? Do you have someone you like?" He stared at me, his face turning red from the effort, but he still couldn't muster the courage to say it. "No, not yet." Fearing I would press him further, he quickly cut in. "Anyway, don't overthink it. If you don't want anyone to know, I'll keep your secret." "Derek, thank you. Don't mention it. It's no big deal." I worked out all afternoon and I'm exhausted, so I'm going to bed now." "You should get some rest, too." "Okay." He walked past me, his limbs moving stiffly, climbed into his bed and lay down like a board. I opened my laptop and forwarded him the movie from earlier. I left a message. "You seem to really like it. The rest of the plot is good too. You should keep watching." Then I calmly returned to the bathroom to wash up. Around 3 or 4 in the morning, Derek had a strange dream. He dreamt of a scene identical to the one in the movie. Only the person pinned beneath him had my face, and he could hear the person on top, working hard and saying domineeringly, "Don't you dare get any other guy's numbers, or I'll fuck you to death." That voice was unmistakably his own. This time the shock woke him up for real. He threw off the covers, looked down, and just stared, mouth agape, unable to process anything for a long, long time. After that night, Derek started to intentionally avoid me. He still bought me water, brought me food, and did my laundry, but he began to avoid any and all physical contact. Another morning, he was in the washroom for a very long time. I knocked, but there was no response, so I just pushed the door open. I found Derek standing in front of the sink, staring blankly at a pair of underwear soaking in the basin. "What are you doing?" I asked with a yawn. He jumped, startled. Seeing me, he quickly finished scrubbing the underwear, wrung it out, and tried to leave. As he passed me, he deliberately shrank away, as if I were some kind of monster that would eat him on contact. I took a step to the side, blocking his path. "Did I do something wrong? Did I upset you?" He shook his head. "Why are you giving me the cold shoulder? Do you hate me now?" He shook his head again. I lost my patience. "If you don't say something, I'm going to kiss you." Derek's eyes widened slightly, but he still didn't speak. A blush crept up his ears. If you looked closely, you could see a faint glimmer of anticipation in his expression. Unfortunately for him, his anticipation was cut short. My phone on the bed started ringing. I walked over, saw the caller ID, and then casually glanced at Derek. I answered the phone. Chloe's voice came through the speaker. "Why didn't you reply to my message last night? Don't forget we're supposed to meet up today." I fell asleep. "Got it." After confirming the location, I hung up. I washed up, changed my clothes, and was about to head out when Derek called out to me. "You're going out?" "Yeah, you heard. But don't you like guys?" "MHM. What does that have to do with anything?" I replied nonchalantly, stuffing my oil painting supplies into my bag. Derek grabbed my wrist forcefully. He looked angry. "Then you shouldn't be messing around with other girls. What you're doing isn't right." I stared at him silently for a few seconds, then smirked. "You don't want me to go see her?" "Why?" Derek, unable to tell the truth, looked extremely agitated. I pressed my advantage. "You're this concerned, you don't happen to like me, do you?" He froze for a second, then his brow relaxed. He actually went along with my words. "Yes, I like you, don't go see other girls, I'm jealous." A strange silence fell over the room. After confessing, it was as if Derek had a sudden epiphany. "Actually, I've liked you since the first day I moved into this dorm. All this time, my concern and care for you, it was all because of that. I was afraid to say it before because I thought you'd reject me. But I don't want to hide it anymore." He said it all so plainly. I raised an eyebrow. "Is that all true? You're not lying to me?" "Of course not, then prove it to me." "Huh, how do I prove it?" "Kiss me." "What?" Derek was stunned. "Are you scared or do you not want to?" I provoked him. Derek's neck stiffened. "Nonsense, bring it on." He took a deep breath, stepped forward, wrapped an arm around my neck and leaned in to kiss me. His lips, tentative and trembling, landed on mine and he froze. I kept my eyes open, observing every subtle change in his expression. He started with a light, butterfly-soft peck, but then, as if he'd found something he liked, he slowly deepened the kiss. There wasn't a hint of resistance on his face. He was completely, contentedly lost in the moment. The kiss became fierce. He pushed me back against the desk, kissing me relentlessly. Derek, NGH, tears of pure sensation welled in my eyes and slid down my cheeks. Derek tasted the saltiness and pulled back, looking at me. The realization of what he'd done hit him. Seeing my tear-streaked, flushed face, he panicked. "I'm sorry, I lost control. Did I hurt you?" He stammered for a while before finally grabbing my hand in surrender and trying to make me slap his face with it. "Just hit me, I was wrong." I had recovered from that intense wave of emotion. I grabbed a handful of his short hair. My eyes narrowed. "You seem to have a lot of experience." "Not a bad kisser." He blushed, but couldn't resist leaning down to kiss my brow and eyes. His own eyes were sparkling as he looked at me, saying shyly, "That was my first kiss." Of course, I knew that. Even though he was supposedly straight, he'd never had a girlfriend. He was really willing to go all out to win me over. I patted his chest. "All right, I believe you. I accept your confession. I still went to meet Chloe. After all, I'd made a promise, and I couldn't selfishly bail on her." I did, however, reassure Derek and let him know my whereabouts. I told him the truth. "She's a junior from my department who's asking for my help with painting. Don't overthink it." "How do you know she's not interested in you? Maybe she has a secret crush on you," he said, still uneasy. "I can't control how other people feel, but I have a boyfriend now. If it bothers you, I'll keep an appropriate distance from her." With me having said that much, anything more from him would seem unreasonable. Derek knew it too, and he reluctantly nodded, letting me go. "Then come back early. I'll be waiting for you in the dorm." "Okay," but of course, the guy secretly followed us the whole time. I saw his reflection hiding in the crowd in the glass doors of the art museum. I knew he wouldn't just let me be alone with his sister. I was genuinely curious about what on earth Chloe could have done to make Derek come up with such a preposterous misunderstanding. After I accepted his confession, Derek became openly clingy. Sometimes I wondered if he was trying to turn his act into reality. Aside from not publicly announcing our relationship, we were together every day, coming and going as a pair. I used to always wear a mask when I went out, trying to fend off unwanted advances. With Derek around, I no longer had to bother. His tall figure standing by my side was actually quite intimidating to outsiders when he wasn't smiling. Anyone who approached would take one look and retreat. That was one of the reasons I agreed to let him follow me around everywhere. As for Derek, his insistence on sticking to my side was, of course, because he was worried his sister would try to meet me alone again. However, I had signed Chloe up for a free training course run by a professor I knew well. We only communicated online occasionally for me to give her feedback on her work. She wouldn't be looking for me in person anytime soon. After about 2 months of this, Derek seemed to notice that his sister had lost interest in me. His mood slowly began to shift. On several occasions, he looked at me as if he wanted to say something but held back. I wasn't in a hurry. Because no matter when he decided to come clean, I had absolutely no intention of letting him go. A hunter never releases his prey. Besides, I had to admit, having him around was quite satisfying. At the end of the semester, I finished my exams early. I took out my phone to book a table at a hot pot restaurant and then went to the gym to find Derek. He loves hot pot. A new place had just opened near campus last week, and we had agreed to go together after my exams were done. The tennis court on the 3rd floor was empty. I grabbed a passing student to ask, "Oh, you mean that group of sports majors? They're in the locker room at the end of the hall." "Thanks." I headed in the direction he pointed. The hallway was filled with athletes, drenched in sweat after their workouts. The air was thick with an indescribable odor. I quickened my pace and reached the locker room door. Just as my hand touched the handle, I heard Derek's voice from just behind the door. "What are you talking about? I'm not gay. I'm just playing a part," someone asked. "D-man, I've seen how attentive you are to Leo. Aren't you afraid of what'll happen when the truth comes out and you can't clean up the mess?" Another voice chimed in. "Wait a minute, bro. You're reacting so strongly. Don't tell me you've actually fallen for that gay guy." "For real? Holy shit, man. You haven't actually fallen for him and gotten bent into a pretzel, have you? You're just being stubborn, right?" "Hey, don't even say that. I think I saw D-man kissing that guy in the woods the other day, man. It was so passionate, so into it." Derek's voice rose in annoyance. "That's enough, all of you shut up. D-man, your sister hasn't seen Leo in ages. She's probably over him by now. Since you've achieved your goal, why don't you just find a chance to break up with him?" That voice sounded familiar. I realized it was the same friend who had been on the phone with Derek before. After a long pause, Derek's dejected voice came through. I need to think about it." "What's there to think about?" his friends asked, confused. "Tusk, just drop it." "Get changed and let's go," Derek said, clearly troubled. I let go of the handle and took 2 steps back, but I didn't leave. The door was pulled open from the inside, and Derek and I came face to face. A brilliant series of emotions flashed across his face. Happiness, suspicion, then panic. When did you get here?" he asked, his throat tight, the words coming out strained. I gave a calm smile. "Right around when you were saying you're not gay. You heard all of that." "Oh, pretty much." I glanced past him. His friends, of course, had seen me too. Their expressions were a colorful, chaotic mix. Derek shut the door and pulled me outside. I let him lead me out of the stadium without a word. Out on an empty field, he looked at me cautiously. "I'm sorry, let me explain." "Let go. I'm not breaking up with you." The idiot was so nervous he misheard me. It took him a moment to realize his mistake, and his face flushed red with either embarrassment or frustration. I asked in a calm tone, "Derek, you're quite the schemer, aren't you? A straight guy pretending to be gay to trick me. Doesn't that disgust you? Does it give you a sense of accomplishment, watching me being played for a fool?" His face was a mask of anxiety. "It's not like that I got close to you because..." I yanked my hand away, my expression frigid. "Do you really think I'm going to listen to a liar's explanation? I was wrong to lie to you. I'm sorry, I'm truly sorry." He tried to step closer, but I held up a hand to stop him. "Derek, you've disappointed me more than you can imagine. Let's just end it here. Us." I made my words final and absolute. His face went white and he looked like he was about to cry. I clenched my fist, a pang of pity in my heart. But someone who does wrong has to be punished. Not only that, but I was going to use this opportunity to force him to confront his true feelings for me. After all this time together, I could feel it. He liked me. Derek chased after me, but was blocked by the flood of students leaving their classes. I went back to the dorm and canceled our restaurant reservation. I didn't want to see him for a while. Just as I was wondering where to go, I got a message from a classmate. Leo, a senior from our department, is organizing a sketching trip to the countryside. It's for a week. Do you want to sign up? When does it leave? We've chartered a bus. It leaves tonight. Okay, sign me up. While waiting for the final list of participants, I quickly packed a suitcase. Once I got the confirmation, I grabbed my bag and left the dorm. As I took the elevator down, I just missed Derek. I stepped into the elevator on the left a second before he emerged from the one on the right. The doors closed. He didn't see me. We went to a small village in the south. It was surrounded by mountains, but the scenery was beautiful. Our group of about a dozen people set up tents to camp in the village square. At night, I sat in a field. I took pictures of the star-filled sky, gathering material for the next day's painting. My phone vibrated twice. Derek had sent another message begging for forgiveness. He had returned to the dorm after I left without a word and found my luggage gone. The sight had terrified him, making him think I'd moved out for good. He had frantically asked around for my whereabouts and finally learned from a classmate that I had gone on a sketching trip. This tall guy came up. His face was pale as a ghost, and his eyes were all red and swollen. If I didn't know better, I'd have thought you were in an accident, my classmate had told me with a laugh. Turns out he was just scared you were going to dump him. You've got him well trained. You'll have to teach me your tricks sometime. For the 4 days I'd been in the countryside, Derek had gone from messaging me every few minutes and constantly testing the waters about coming to find me to a more restrained pace. I pretended to still be angry and told him not to disturb me. Derek didn't dare disobey and settled for sending me a message every hour. He apologized profusely and repeatedly said he didn't want to break up. I decided to string him along a little while longer. A week later, our chartered bus brought us back to the university. Everyone dispersed at the campus gate. I slung my backpack over my shoulder and headed toward my dorm. Ryan Evans, a guy from the trip, lived on the floor above me, so we walked together, laughing and talking. By the way, the senior I'm rooming with is graduating this year. I remember you live alone, right? Do you want to move in with me? I have a roommate. Ah, damn, you're taken too. He let out a groan, then looked at me with puppy dog eyes. Do you have any empty spots? Can you take me in? Why, isn't having a whole room to yourself great? I asked, confused. He scratched his head, embarrassed. Actually, I've never been able to sleep alone. I'm a bit of a scaredy cat. He grabbed my hand and pleaded, Are you sure you can't move in with me? For the sake of our friendship. He can't, a voice cut in abruptly from behind us. Derek had run here in a hurry and was still catching his breath. He strode over and slapped Ryan's hand away. He wrapped a possessive arm around my shoulder. Sorry, man, my roommate. No, my boyfriend can't live with you. Ryan's eyes widened slightly as he looked between us. Understanding dawned on his face. Got it. I won't disturb you too then. He said his goodbyes and headed upstairs. Boyfriend, if I remember correctly, we broke up, I said, looking at Derek. It doesn't count if I didn't agree, he said, holding me so tightly I thought he was afraid I'd disappear again. Throwing a tantrum won't work, I don't fall for that. Leo, please don't leave me, okay? As he spoke, his eyes suddenly turned red and tears began to stream down his face. I decided it was about time. Derek, what are your real feelings for me? I want to hear the honest truth. I love you so much. Seriously and sincerely, I love you. I'm not lying, I swear, but you're straight. I'm not. The moment I saw you smile when I first moved in, I was bent. He told me that during the week we were apart, he had thought a lot. He had deeply reflected on his mistakes and recognized his own foolishness. What he felt for me was a true, genuine connection. The thought of being separated from me forever, of having no relationship at all, was agonizing. Fine, then explain your mistake. Seeing his haggard face, the dark circles under his eyes, and how much weight he'd lost, my attitude softened. Derek, seeing he had a chance, immediately launched into the explanation of how he had only approached me for his sister's sake. It was a terrible thing to do. I deserve it if you ignore me, but as long as you're not angry anymore, I'll do anything you ask. He quickly added, except break up. I nodded coolly. I know, we'll see. Seeing that I was about to walk away again, he grabbed me in a panic. He didn't control his strength, and I was pulled into his chest. He started crying, trying to kiss me. I dodged, and his kiss landed on the corner of my mouth. Derek, let go. No, if I let go, you'll disappear again. I struggled, but he was all over me like a puppy, kissing and licking me. He was so focused that he didn't notice someone approaching. Bro, master, what are you guys doing? We both froze and looked up at the newcomer. Chloe stood there, her hand half covering her mouth, utterly shocked by what she was seeing. The three of us sat down at a coffee shop off campus. After hearing her brother's ridiculous and dramatic story, Chloe was flabbergasted. "You thought I had a crush on Master. How is that possible? I like guys." "Oh wait, Master likes guys too." She put heavy emphasis on the word too. Derek was mortified. "But when I asked you before, you said you liked him a lot." He pointed to the drawings on her phone and the fact that she was always looking for me. Chloe rolled her eyes in exasperation. "When I said I liked him, I meant his talent, get it?" She also clarified that she only met with me to learn painting and had absolutely no romantic intentions. "Well, you weren't clear. Excuse me. You're the one who didn't ask the right questions." I sipped my coffee, watching the two siblings bicker like children. "All right, quiet." They both fell silent, glaring at each other with flushed faces. Now that everything's out in the open, the misunderstanding is cleared up. "It's getting late, let's call it a day." I had just stood up when my fingers were caught. Derek pressed close. "Where are you going?" "I'm going with you." "Home," I said. "What, are you that eager to come home and meet my parents?" The semester was over and summer break had begun. Derek's ears turned red. He fidgeted for a moment, then blinked and asked, "Can I?" I laughed. He certainly knew how to push his luck. Chloe looked at our intertwined hands. "Master, did you really turn my brother gay?" Derek spoke up first. "No, I bent all by myself." "Ooh, so protective already." "I'm not blaming anyone, I just never thought you two would end up as a couple." "You're such different people." Chloe and I exchanged a smile. After leaving the coffee shop, we went for that belated hot pot dinner. Once we were full, Derek finally remembered to ask why his sister had come to the university. It turned out their parents had sent her to check on him since he hadn't come home for the break yet. "I'll come home once I've won my boyfriend back. And what if I never forgive you? Then I'll stick to you like glue and beg for your forgiveness with my shamelessness." Chloe sat by, watching the PDA unfold. Seeing her brother acting like a total simp, she muttered, "Pathetic." "So what? I have a boyfriend. Do you?" Derek retorted, deliberately trying to annoy her. On the surface, the two siblings were always ready to fight, but deep down, they cared for each other. I envied their bond. Perhaps it was that warm and loving nature that made this dummy so attractive to me. Of course, the looks and the body were still very important. I agreed to Derek's request. He wanted to court me all over again. For the summer, I flew to Germany to vacation with my parents. During my stay, to my non-surprise, Derek showed up. He even pretended to run into me on the street, his acting so clumsy that his intentions were obvious from a mile away. My parents are very open-minded. They never cared about my orientation. They were just supportive of me finding someone I truly liked. So, even after learning about my relationship with Derek, they happily gave us their blessing. Derek might seem foolish, but he's smarter than he looks. He charmed my parents, who invited him to stay with us, and our days were filled with laughter. During the last 2 days of the break, I was in my room packing. Derek snuck in again, holding me and kissing me nonstop. Over this period, I had come to know for certain that he was deeply in love with me. As he pushed me down on the bed, I grabbed his hair, which had grown a little longer. I pulled his head back, stopping him from licking my lower abdomen. He crawled up my body, dissatisfied, and showered my face with tiny kisses. "Derek, wait, I have something to tell you." "Okay, go ahead." "I'm listening." Not only did he not stop, but he also pinned my hands to the side. I arched my neck, biting back a gasp. "I have a secret I want to tell you." "What is it?" he asked, his words muffled as he continued to kiss me. "Actually, I knew about your plan to get close to me from the very beginning. I was stringing you along the whole time, watching you walk right into my trap." I said it softly, revealing the origin and the truth of everything. Derek stopped, slowly lifting his head to look at me in astonishment. After a long moment, he spoke. "Holy shit," I caressed his face. "That's right, I played you too." He grabbed my hand and bit it, not too hard, not too soft. "Then keep tricking me." I froze. "You're not angry?" He shook his head, his gaze firm. "I'm willing to be tricked by you for a lifetime. Just don't ever mention breaking up again. You have no idea. The day you said you wanted to end things, my heart just died." It hurt so much. He thought back to that day, filled with both regret and fear. As he spoke, his eyes welled up with tears again. I hooked my arm around his neck and promised him, "Okay, I'll never mention it again." He kissed me hard. "Leo, keep railing me in. I love you so, so much." I returned his passionate love, smiling. "You dummy. Derek and me too. From the first moment I saw you, I've liked you so much." That night was exceptionally long. After he flipped me over again, I lost my patience and yanked his hair in frustration. So much for being a TRIGHT guy, huh? Are you ever going to finish? Derek let out a fond, soft laugh. Yeah. Which part of that is wrong? The end.